Alright, so as you see in the thumbnail, the monster truck is broken again. Obviously you see it on the wheels like that. It's not supposed to be like that because, well, a couple of weekends ago we were playing with the RCs. There was 4 of them running around, and well, 2 of them got into a head-on collision and broke some stuff on this, so which we're going to be replacing today. These steering knuckles, well, blocks, along with, there's part number for that, RPM, what are these called? I can't remember what they're called, caster blocks, along with the most important thing, the A-arms, and also, what are those? The hinge pins for the front A-arms got a little bent. So, which I did upgrade these before when I had that problem. And the reason why I'm replacing all of this stuff is because it broke the control arm right there. So I did some research, you know, basically what aluminum parts can fit on this thing and make it beefier and not want to break. Along with, I cracked the chassis as well, so I'm gonna be fixing that too with some good old plastic JB Weld bond, because I'm not buying a new chassis for that. So I'll show you where it's cracked at. See that crack right there? So it goes down there that way, long, and the inside right there. So I'm just going to JB Weld all that in place. So and basically fix this thing. I also got a screw kit too for this thing. It comes with all new screws. The reason why I bought it is because the screws for the steering block literally like stripped out of it. So, and I don't know where they went, but this screw kit didn't come with them at all. So luckily I had some from the buggy that I fixed, so I have these stock ones because these are the ones that you need to put the knuckles onto the caster blocks. So yeah, the screw kit did not come with any of it, but there is a bent screw that goes down here somewhere or whatnot. I think I still have it somewhere. Where did I put it back in? I'm not sure. Yeah, this is a bent one right here where it goes to the servo saver. So I'm gonna get started on this damn thing. Put that back in. So we're just going to mix up some of the plastic bond. Oh yeah, perfect. You can get this stuff at Walmart for relatively cheap. I think it was like $8, something like that. I don't know. I've used this stuff before to repair some stuff on RCs. Oh, that's a lot. Oh well. Just gonna stir this together. I'm just gonna put it on there like so, where that crack is. Hopefully this crack doesn't get any worse, because ECX chassis, actually the RCs itself, the company went out of business, which is a shame because these RCs were relatively cheap. I would say it's on the cheaper end of the hobby, you know, to get into or whatnot. And actually, this was my actual first hobby grade RC that I bought brand new. So other ones I've gotten used from friends and marketplace and stuff like that. So, but majority of the ones I have that you've seen on the channel is they have been new. So ones that are used, I really don't. Well, the ECX trophy truck I got used, and the buggy I got used from my buddy. So, but some of the other ones I haven't shown are used, like I have 2 nitros that I haven't shown. So basically I'm globbing this thing on there so that way it doesn't break, hopefully. I'll show you guys in a second where I'm globbing it. So I think it says it takes like 20 minutes to dry, but I usually let this stuff dry like a couple of hours or maybe overnight. It depends on like how much I put on and stuff like that. So these chassis are becoming harder to find, so I might pick up another one and or use this one for parts. I don't know. Hopefully it doesn't break anymore. But see, let's put it all down in there. Put it all inside right there. So get it, push some of it in the crack too that was in there. So we're gonna let that dry. Put it back on the tire, try and get it level or whatnot. And yes, I'm rocking with the old wheels in the front because the hexes on these Traxxas tires broke. The wheels, kind of bummer, but meh, it is what it is. So now we're going to focus on the front end. So this hinge pin kit is for a Traxxas, I want to say, or whatnot. This is the part number. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4 different sizes for this. So I think this is like a 35 or a 38 millimeter. It has a nut on the end of it, which is nice. So that's why I went with these instead of it just screwing into the actual plastic like how this design is. So this design doesn't have a nut on it. So hopefully it won't like back out or anything like that because it has nice nylon nut on it. So I'm gonna get everything open, laid out, and show you guys what I'm gonna do. Alright, so got all my parts laid out. you hear a fan going, it's kind of hot. Alright, try and get this done before it actually gets too hot. So, today, but basically, I'm disassembling. Well, it's already disassembled, but I had to disassemble it more to put the arms on and stuff. So, basically, need to get the old stuff off, so that way I can put new stuff on. I wish I would have gotten that on video, because man, it was so freaking loud. What happened was so it was my nephew's birthday. He just turned 7, so, and he's pretty good with the RCs or whatnot, and he didn't realize we were out front playing with him. So, and my brother was over, and my god kids were over too. So what happened was 4 of us were playing in the street, you know, zooming around, you know, whatnot. It was pretty cool. My brother was driving the ECX trophy truck. My godson was driving the monster truck, the one that's broken, that I'm fixing. I was driving the Arma Satin, and my brother-in-law Jeff, he was driving his Arma Big Rock. So, and what had happened was that the Arma, he didn't really see the monster truck, because, you know, he was trying to teach Grayson how to drive it. So, and they were just ripping it down the street and just didn't really see the monster truck, and kind of did a head-on collision. Broke both of his front shocks on it. So, but it did more damage to this thing. So, but right now I'm just getting all the bearings out of these steering knuckles, because we're not gonna need them. So, but yeah, it sounded really loud. So, very loud. And also, if you hear someone in the background, that's my fiance. She's playing her game. So, just FYI. Now, usually I put Loctite on these threads right here. So I'm just cleaning the threads right now, trying to get Loctite off of them, because I have had a wheel come off. So that's why I put a little bit of Loctite on them, so that way it doesn't happen. Even with the nylon nuts, I've still had wheels come off of this thing, so I don't want that happening. So I'll just clean the threads, put that back together like so. But yeah, it was pretty gnarly. Sounded like a gunshot went off. I was kind of shocked that that broke the way it did, because I've put this thing through the ringer. So, but I mean, what do you expect? It was a head-on collision. I don't even know how fast these things were going. I know they were just zipping around everywhere. So it was probably, I don't know, that big rock can go pretty damn fast. It's probably like a 30-mile-an-hour crash, to be honest. So I didn't have GPSs on either one of them. So, but fun times. So basically, it's pretty straightforward, just taking screws off, stuff like that. Oh, I need to get the arms off first. There's a little set screw right here. I think it's yeah, 1.5 mil, which the new arms are, they come with a set screw, but it's like a little weird. So I'll have intrusions for them. Basically take those off, set screws off. I'm gonna undo the shocks. which I'm surprised the shocks survived because, well, like, they are plastic, so I thought there was going to be more damage to it. I thought, honestly, the bulkhead was going to be broken, which is this part right here, you know, where it holds the arms and everything else to the chassis, but it's not cracked, it's not broken. This part is very hard to find, so. But, so, I think, yeah, the sliders come out that way. So, supposed to be able to push these. Ah, man, they're gonna fight me. Well, I will be back. Alright, we're back. The arms are off. So, had to use a hammer. But, yeah. I gotta clean up these pins. So, that's not good. The rust got in there. So, and what I did before I even started taking these off, because these are left and right, so I don't get them mixed up, I'm not replacing these, so I just label them left and right, because the arms are labeled left and right. Caster blocks, these things, you can use them on either side, so it doesn't matter. So, but gonna be getting this all situated. So, just some screws. Now there are two different holes, okay? So I use the first one so that way it's the same camber angle or whatnot. But you can tell the difference in these parts. This one's a lot beefier, this one's not. Like, I can literally bend it this way. This, I can't bend it that much. So, and I've read that if you use aluminum steering caster blocks along with the hubs and arms, you'll potentially break something else if you crash it. So that's why I just went with this beefier plastic by RPM. RPM has been pretty known in the business for their beefier plastic replacement parts. So, and actually that is what is on the ECX trophy truck, is the RPM arms, and the don't want to get that too tight. Just want to make it just tight enough so that way I can still basically move it around or whatnot. So that's what's on the trophy truck. And the buggy I got from my buddy was just the arms, but the caster blocks broke. So, which I wish I would have known that about that before I did the caster blocks on the buggy. But buggy, I really don't drive because parts are really hard to find for that thing. So mostly kind of a shelf queen, you would want to say. The other one I need to get is the stadium truck. That's the last one I would need, and I would have pretty much all the ECXs. I know they have newer body ones. Well, when they did have newer ones, they changed the bodies on them, but I'm looking for the older body ones. Older body style ones, because that's what I like. So, and these arms are labeled left, right. So, right side goes there, left side goes here. I'm gonna clean those pins up real quick, so that way it's easier to slide in. Alright, so I've got the pins cleaned up. What I like to do is just put a little bit of grease on these so that way that doesn't happen. I thought I did that before when I revamped this thing, but I guess I didn't. So there's some nice lithium white grease on it. Don't need a lot, just a wee bit. Just a wee bit. So that way it slides nice and easy in there. I can find the damn hole. There it goes. Just like that. Just need a little, that's it. So, gonna push this down the rest of the way, like so. It's not gonna come out of the backside because the backside is a little bit smaller. So, and this is how the new set screw sits in, is just these little screws that go on there instead of on the side, like how I'll show you in a second. Get this one screwed in. So the old ones, the set screw was set off to the side and not on top. So these ones are set on top of it. So maybe it'll help out with it not rusting. I don't know. But I'm trying to make sure I have the right side. Yep, the right side on there. Alright. Just a wee bit. Basically just put some on your finger, just roll it around. Get it nice and slippy. Right. Goes in there. And so that way it can still move too. Because you don't want these pins sticking on you, because then it won't articulate when you go over terrain and stuff like that, which you need that, or it won't perform well. There it goes. Now we don't need this anymore. Put that away. And plastic screws going into plastic, they don't need Loctite. So they should most likely just screw it in and get tight, because the screws are a little bit bigger than the plastic. So should be fine. Close that up. So now we have most of this stuff assembled. Put the shocks on. We're gonna flip this over like so. And I usually put it on the very top hole. So that's what I had it on before. That's what I'm going to use. So. Again, you don't need Loctite on the plastic stuff. It should screw in and get tight. Now these shocks may look a little different than the stock ones. It's because I had some aftermarket ones, and I use these style shims. Instead of putting actual shims in there, I can control the spring pressure and height with these instead of buying new ones. So use what I had basically. And I put different springs on these too, so that way it drove better. Basically, want to make sure it's not too tight. You still want everything to articulate, stuff like that, freely. Now it's a little stiff. Back that off a little bit. There we go. Moves around. All right. So, time for the casters. Well, the steering knuckles. So it's I'm looking at that. See, Hot Racing didn't label these left and right, so that's kind of a bummer a little bit, but you can figure it out. If I can figure it out, you can figure it out. So now with this, I will put Loctite on these, so that way they don't go anywhere. Just blue Loctite. That's all you need. Don't need to go crazy or anything like that. Just a little dab. Just a little dab like that. No, that's too much. There we go. It's all lined up now. Again, you don't want to over tighten these because you want it to move freely. So what I like to do is leave the top one a little loose and crank the bottom one, so that way your bottom one won't come out. Again, just a tad bit of Loctite, blue Loctite. I've heard of people using super glue, just a dab bit of super glue. I've never done that, so I've always used a little blue Loctite. Now when it gets all the way tight, just snug it down a little bit, test it. It's a little too much, so just back it off a hair, tighten this one down just where it's snug, still moves freely. My wheel hex, it's not cooperating. Just leave that off. So it moves nice and freely. That's what you want. You don't want it binding up, because then your steering servo is going to be working harder, and it could potentially damage it. You don't want that. You don't want to damage your steering servo. So, and you don't want to use regular screws, because you see how it has like this little shoulder on here, whatnot. It fits down in here like so, so that way there's no slop to it. Now the upgraded knuckles, the aluminum ones, they have like a little shim in there. That's why, because this is basically like a little shim on it. So, and the buggy video, I show the same thing, you know, but it's it has shims and not these set screws, because the aluminum ones don't come with those style screws. They just come with Allen's normal ones. So I think the shims are brass. You can possibly get shims. I'm not sure. A little shim that fits in there. So luckily I had the old screws from the buggy, because when it came apart, when it hit, the screws went somewhere. I don't know where. Probably laying in the street somewhere. Got swept up by the street sweeper. So it's a little loose. I got some more. Don't want it too loose, because then it just, these will back out eventually and come up. We'll have a good time. So you want it just enough. And again, that's why the Loctite's on there too, so that way that will prevent that from happening. You know, like coming apart. So. So we're just gonna put this back together now. Hopefully that doesn't come back apart. Alright, time to put it on the bulkhead now. Oh yeah, we're gonna need that. We're gonna need 2.5mm. Don't need those anymore. We'll figure that out when we put it on the truck. So now we have our bulkhead, which, looking at it, this is the front. It faces this way towards us if we're looking at it. So that's where the screws go. So I basically put all these screws back so that way I know where everything went, basically. So, and now looking at this, I need to put this on the RC first, which it is dry to the touch, so put that in the RC now. Alright, so I've got the bulkhead on the RC. Trying to clean up some of the old parts laying around. So as you see, 2 screws go in there like that. It's facing towards us. It's pretty much dry. Let it dry a little longer before I actually like go out and like beat the snot out of this thing. So hopefully you guys can see this, because I can't see. So we're going to take these 4 screws out right here, mount it to the shock tower assembly thing. Now you can take the whole thing apart. I didn't, so I didn't know when I was going to come back to it. Took roughly about 2 weeks for all the parts to come in, so some stuff came in pretty quick, some stuff didn't. So, but we're here fixing it now, so that's all that matters. Making it better. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Like, it's not that difficult to work on these things. These things are pretty easy to do, easy to work on. You get the gist of like how things work, mechanical work, stuff like that. just experimenting, taking these things apart. So I've been messing with RCs since I was 10 years old, so about roughly 20 years now. So just messing with cheap RCs, smashing them together, taking parts and motors from one, putting them on like smaller ones, stuff like that. Experimenting. So I've messed with the cheaper Walmart stuff, made them look kind of cool or whatnot. So body swaps, wheel swaps, motor swaps, all that kind of fun stuff. So now, since you have the shock tower put on there, now we can put the arms on. So very simple, straightforward. Can you guys see? I don't know if you guys can see or not. Maybe that's a better angle. Yeah, that's a better angle. So like I said, I think these are like 38 or 38 millimeter long. So I'm gonna just take our lithium grease and just grease her up, so that way it slides in there nice. I test fitted all this too to make sure it fit properly, before I did anything. It's kind of a snug fit. Also, you gotta make sure everything's lined up. So bear with me, guys.
Use a little bit too much grease.
But that's okay. Don't just glob it on there. Just use a little bit. When you get started, you can possibly move the arm around, but may need a little bit of persuasion. Like I said, it is a tight fit, so nope. Let me get back to you guys. Alright, so I got those in. Sorry if you hear the fan. You guys are right by the fan. It's hot. Sorry. But kind of screwed up. I couldn't use these at all. So if you look on the back side right there, you can see it right there. Let me do that closer. Yeah. So there's no nuts on the back side of it, but these screws are threaded, so hopefully they stay in. If not, we're going to be revisiting this. So, and yeah, basically going to get everything else put back on or whatnot. So, and the messed up screw is what's on this plate right here. I forgot. It's quite bent. It wasn't this one, but I'll still replace that one, maybe. Yeah, no bueno. So I'm gonna get all this put back together and show you guys the result. Alright, well, it's all back together. Skid plate underneath it. Back together. Damn thing keeps falling out there. But yeah, this is going to be pretty much wrapping up this video, guys. So hopefully this kind of helps anyone, if they have, broken A-arms on either the monster truck, the Torment, which is a trophy truck, or the buggy. It's almost a similar process or whatnot. The buggy is a little bit more fragile, so I might get these RPM arms to put onto the buggy, so that way Or I might just, upgrade that thing all the way with aluminum parts, make it nice and pretty or whatnot. I'm not sure. But there we go. The monster truck is basically back in working order. I'll throw the wheels on it. I'm not going to test it in this video because, well, it's hot outside. I don't got batteries charged up. So until then, hopefully I don't break any more stuff. So maybe I'll get a video of this thing ripping around. Maybe I'll make a custom wheelie bar for it because, well, my old one didn't really work that well. So, but till then,